History is written by the victors. We all know this. But what happens when the victor is a god and the vanquished is a woman who was silenced forever? Close your eyes and imagine Medusa. What do you see? A hideous creature? Fangs? A monster whose only goal is to kill heroes? This is the image pop culture has sold us for 3,000 years. The absolute evil. But it is a lie. If you read the ancient texts, if you dare to look beyond the myth of the hero, you will discover a much darker story. The story of Medusa is not that of a monster. It is the story of a survivor. It is a tale of unpunished assault, failed divine justice, and political assassination. Today, we are going to descend together into the depths of mythology to dig up the truth. Welcome to the true story of the Gorgon. To understand Medusa's tragic end, we must understand where she comes from. And she comes from far away. Long before Zeus ruled Olympus, there were the primordial deities, entities of chaos, earth, and the deep sea. Her parents, Phorcys and Ceto, are primordial sea monsters. They live far from civilization, in a mythical land called Systene, at the edge of the known world, where the sun barely touches the horizon. It is a world of darkness, black rock, and foam. From this union, 3 sisters are born, the Gorgons. The 2 eldest, Steno and Euryale, are immortal monsters. They were born to terrify. But the third, Medusa, is a divine anomaly. Fate plays a cruel trick on her. She is born mortal, vulnerable, and above all, amidst this family of monsters, she is born with breathtaking human beauty. Imagine this child, a delicate flower growing on a barren rock. She is the stranger in her own home. It is this fundamental difference, this need to escape her monstrous nature, that will push her to leave the darkness and seek the light of men. Medusa leaves the Wild West for the center of the civilized world, Athens. She wants to rise. She wants to serve order and reason. She presents herself at the temple of Athena, the goddess of wisdom and strategic war. Becoming a priestess of Athena is not just a job. It is a total priesthood. It implies daily rituals, iron discipline, and, above all, a sacred vow of chastity. Medusa offers her life and body to the goddess. The texts, especially those of Ovid, heavily insist on one detail: her hair. They say her hair rivaled gold. Her beauty was such that pilgrims no longer came to the temple to pray to the statue of the goddess. They came to look at the priestess. This is where the tragedy begins. In Greek mythology, hubris, excessive pride, is always punished. But here, Medusa is not proud. She is just beautiful. However, this unintentional beauty begins to irritate Athena. And worse, this beauty catches the attention of a rival of Athena, a god who lost the city of Athens to her and seeks revenge. We arrive at the heart of darkness of this story. Poseidon, the god of the oceans, the earth shaker. He spots Medusa. He doesn't see her as a person. He sees her as a trophy, a way to humiliate Athena by defiling her favorite priestess. What happens next is often censored in textbooks. They talk of seduction, of a romance. That is false. Medusa is a devoted priestess. She would never have broken her vow voluntarily.
She flees into the temple. She runs to the statue of her mistress. She clings to the sacred altar, begging Athena to help her. But the statue remains silent. The divine silence is deafening. Poseidon catches her, and he commits the unspeakable, right there on the sacred floor. He does not just violate a woman, he violates the sanctity of the temple. Once his act is done, he leaves into the ocean, leaving behind a broken, destroyed woman curled up on the cold floor. Medusa thinks she has hit rock bottom. She thinks the horror is over. She is wrong.
Athena descends into her temple. She sees the scene. She sees her priestess in tears, her clothes torn. Logic would dictate she punished the aggressor, right? But you don't punish a brother of Zeus. Poseidon is too powerful, politically untouchable. So, Athena's anger must find another target, a weaker target. She accuses Medusa. She accuses her of having seduced the god, of having defiled her temple with this impure act. This is the literal definition of what we call today victim blaming. Blaming the victim for the crime she suffered. The punishment must fit the insult. Athena targets what was Medusa's pride, her beauty. Her soft skin dries up, cracks, becomes scaly. Her delicate hands turn into bronze claws, and her hair, her magnificent golden hair, starts to move, to hiss. It becomes a nest of venomous vipers. But the cruelest curse concerns her eyes. Athena decrees that Medusa can never again seek comfort in the gaze of another living being. Anyone who meets her gaze will instantly turn to stone. Medusa is condemned to absolute solitude. However, a fascinating modern theory exists. What if Athena knew she couldn't defeat Poseidon, and what if, in a twisted form of mercy, she gave Medusa the ultimate power, so that no man could ever touch her again without her consent? Is it a curse, or the most powerful armor ever created?
Years pass. Medusa lives in seclusion. She attacks no one. She just wants to be left alone. But the world of men cannot tolerate the existence of such a powerful woman. Enter Perseus, the great hero. Let's analyze his mission. He is not trying to save a village terrified by a monster. No, he is sent to fetch Medusa's head following a drunken bet, to save his own mother from a forced marriage. He trades one woman's life for another. Is it a heroic fight? Perseus does not go alone. He receives help from all the gods, flying sandals from Hermes, a helmet of invisibility from Hades, a mirror shield from Athena. It is a heavily armed military expedition against a single target. He finds her sleeping. This is a crucial detail. The monster was sleeping. Guided by the reflection in his shield to avoid meeting her gaze, Perseus approaches cowardly and slits her throat. Medusa dies without being able to defend herself, without being able to scream. From the blood gushing from her neck, two creatures are born, the winged horse Pegasus and the warrior Chrysaor. They are Poseidon's children. She was pregnant. During all these years of exile, she carried life, the fruit of her assault. Her death is a tragic liberation. The story doesn't end there. Athena recovers Medusa's head and fixes it on her shield, the Aegis. Even in death, Medusa's gaze continues to protect the goddess. She becomes the Gorgon, a symbol of protection that Greeks carved on their doors to ward off evil. Today, thousands of years later, Medusa finally has her revenge. She is no longer seen as the monster to be killed. She has become the symbol of women's legitimate rage. She represents those who have been broken by the powerful and had to forge a monstrous shell to survive. So, the next time you see an image of Medusa, do not look away. Do not see the monster that myths wanted to build. See the girl who just wanted to be a priestess. See the victim who was punished for her own rape. See the mother who died giving life. Monsters are not always those with fangs and snakes. Sometimes, monsters have the faces of angels, golden tridents, and live at the top of Olympus. Stay curious.